A warm welcome to you all and thank you for joining us once again for Chiropractic and Physiotherapy, Health and Wellness. Today, especially since COVID, we've been seeing a lot of people picking up, becoming more physically active. In Nairobi, especially, we see more people are walking, hiking, swimming, running, going to the gym, and this is fantastic. It is a beautiful thing. The interesting thing is, on one hand, we have people who become more physically active, but on the other hand, we have injuries increasing due to these same activities. And today we want to address the injuries that are coming up due to these activities, how to prevent them, and also we shall be touching on a few sports or hobbies, golf, tennis, squash, the injuries that come about from there, the prevention methods, and how to improve your body such that your game also improves. Joining me on set to discuss this is Dion Jogu on my right. Dion Jogu has been a physical therapist for over 40 years and she's the founder and CEO of Chiropractic and Physiotherapy Health Center. Welcome, Dion.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Do you exercise?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What exercise do you do?
I do my body weight exercises and then I do walking.
Walk. Okay. We shall be speaking about walking. On my left is Dr. Peteka Ina Ngombeni. We call her Dr. Petty in short. Dr. Petty is a chiropractor and she has a master's in chiropractic medicine. Welcome, Dr. Petty.
Thank you very much.
I am guessing you also don't preach water and take wine. You also exercise. What exercise do you do?
Okay, so I do a lot of strength exercises or strength training.
Okay.
And a lot of stretching as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I'd like to begin with what we term as the safest and most natural exercise of all, and that is walking. So Dion, tell us, we are walking, but some of us still get aches and pains, yet it should be the safest form of exercise. What could we be doing wrong?
Thank you very much. The reason why people get hurt during walking is because of the posture. People feel the posture is only when you are sitting. But even walking has a way of walking. The first thing when you are walking, you should be having proper footwear and you should always feel upright, always taller than your height. You don't go bending over because you are walking or go to one-sided you are walking. No, you should be conscious of the way you are walking. Upright, taller than your height, that makes your tummy to hold your spine. So that when you are walking, instead of going with your legs like pressing the legs on the floor uncontrollably, you make yourself aware that you start walking with your heel, then ball of the foot or the other foot, then you do the same for the other leg. So the walk properly is always where you step with your heel and with your toes. Heel, toes, heel, toes. If you find you are not having that rhythm, automatically you are not walking. You are just dragging yourself to walk. So that is the best thing to be always aware when you are walking.
It's interesting you say that because I had asked you that I think a few days ago and I tried it out. So a lot of us are, should I say, hunched over. So when you're hunched over and you're trying to walk, the whole foot will literally be on the floor. So when I try to be upright, it comes automatically heel,
Toes.
heel, toes, heel, toes.
Yes.
So try it out. That is actually the correct way of walking.
Yes.
Dr. Petty, there's something I used to struggle with when I was hiking. Whenever I would go up the mountain, there'd be this burning sensation just right at the back of the leg, below the calf and above the ankle. And it would end at some point, but when I was beginning to go up a hill, that pain was insane. What could have been going on?
You could have been irritating your Achilles tendon. Most of the time when we go
And
up,
Achilles tendon is the one right above the ankle, right?
yes, basically is the attachment of your calf muscle, and it contracts and relaxes as you use your ankle going up and down. So when you're going uphill, generally you're pushing your ankle up and you're forcing it to stretch. So in that manner, there's a lot of weight that is put on it, and sometimes it does get irritated and get inflamed, and then that's why we have Achilles tendonitis. So most of the time, you find that if people don't do regular stretching before and after their exercises, even on normal days, just do your normal stretching. They tend to have to stretch that when they are doing an incline motion, which is going up a hill. Then now they are forcing that tendon to stretch, with weight added onto it. That can create a lot of pain and discomfort.
To add it to Dr. Petty's answer, is that whenever you feel the calf or the burning sensation on the insertion or on the muscle of the calf, it tells you when you are hiking, you are not using your foot. You are using your calf. Naturally, when you are doing whatever you are doing, especially hiking, you should use the whole foot, which means there should be enough movement on the ankle joint.
Okay. I'm a culprit. As I was going up the hill, I only used the balls of the feet because it felt lighter. Going downhill is where most people would actually complain about it being very harsh on the knees, and it gets even worse if it's loose stones or it's muddy and you can slide off. So what can someone do, or what is happening when the knees are having a very big problem while you're going downhill? And is there something that can be done to relieve that discomfort?
Hiking has become a routine for most of the
That's
Kenyans,
true.
especially weekends. But what I see with them when they come back, it is that they were not ready for hiking. Because before you go for hiking, you must be sure your gluteal muscles are firm enough. Your quadriceps or the thigh muscle must be strong enough to be locking the knee when you are going up. So if you don't strengthen the quads, your gluteal muscles and your core muscles, you'll always use the wrong muscles or postures to be able to go up the mountain or the hiking. So before you start hiking, you must be sure the three muscles are strong: the quadriceps, the glutes, and your core.
And the core.
Because when you are climbing, the most muscle which is used is mostly the glutes and your tummy. Those are the muscles you need to use. If they are strong enough, the quads will come in and protect you from feeling the knee pain, because they will lock what we call the patella or the kneecap properly for you to be able to stretch yourself. So before you do those, make sure you have strength on the three muscles. You won't feel it.
The glutes.
And just to add on to what she's saying, also to start progressively. Don't start with a
Yes.
Kilimanjaro.
Let's start with a very steep one.
Yes, so start very small with small inclines, and then as time goes, as you build up more muscles, as you build up more core strength, then you go now further to challenge yourself with a bigger incline.
That is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So let's move to running. So I see runners coming with all sorts of injuries. There's even a condition known as runner's knee. So what happens during running, and what kind of injuries are very common with runners?
So there are injuries that happen with running, because most of the time there's a lot of strains that we do because we adapt to different things in order to try and keep the pace going. So my biggest advice there would be to look at how you are stepping and also look at into the shoes. So the best thing before you start running is to just get good shoes for yourself. Go to a store where they do assess what type of runner are you, meaning that there are certain ways that we place our feet when we run. So we need shoes that are going to support the type of runner that you are, especially if you know that you're going to be running more than 5 kilometers. You need something that's going to be supportive of that. And as Dion has spoken about posture, it's very important to have a good posture when you run to make sure that you engage your core. Most of the time we are not aware, but we don't engage our core. Then you find the pelvis now pushing forward, you are running with your tummy forward, and then now your posture has changed, your calves have been heightened, and then you're going to strain your back, you're going to strain your knee, you're going to stiffen your ankles. So it's very important that you have a good posture initially. Hence, it would be very important to go slowly into it. Run slowly if you need to for a while, and then once you've gotten the posture right, you are engaging your core as much as possible, and you've got the shoes that are most comfortable for you, then you can increase the pace.
Okay.
To add to what Dr. Petty has said is that runner's knee is usually because you have overused the tendon, which is like a wrapper from the hip or just below your lower back, called the ITB. This is like if it is the one which controls your knee and your hip when you are running. If you run wrongly with your feet, as I said, for people walking, it is heel, toe. But you will find when people are running, they spring their feet. It's a springing off. So if you turn a little bit, that means the mechanism of bending the knee and the hip at the same time will change. And which will happen that you overuse that bud. And the bud is attached where? At the knee. So if it is overworked, it automatically gives you a runner's knee. So it is also that landing which matters. If you are landing wrongly, you will use the wrong muscle for the running.
So with running, it's not heel.
No, it is
so
springing.
It's springing.
They spring off.
Yeah.
Which
okay.
means the main strength is on the foot.
Okay.
If they spring off and the strength they have acquired will be very good, and they will be able to do the running without any injury. But if they change the position of the foot a little, either inwards, that way or higher, they will always have changed the mechanism of the running, and it will affect one of the muscles which will be overused than the others. That's why they get runner's knee, because you overchanged the position, so you overused a particular muscle, which the mechanism went wrong, and that's why you come with the runner's knee.
The runner's knee.
Yes.
And just thinking about it, if I'm, say, doing 10 kilometers, so the first 5 kilometers I've been upright, shoulders back, and I'm running, and everything is okay. But the last 2 or 3 kilometers, I will probably change posture. And that is where everything starts going off.
Yes, you start using the wrong muscles, the right muscles, the wrong way.
The right muscles,
The
the
wrong
wrong
way,
way.
yes.
Okay. That is interesting. So that is for running. And another area that we are constantly getting people who are getting injured and coming into the clinic is at the gym. Yeah, and Dr. Petty, what is going on in the gym that is causing a lot of back pain, hip issues, shoulder issues. What's going on there?
First of all, I must say that we have increased in terms of our body awareness and wanting to get fit, which is a good thing. Where it goes wrong is when we don't have advice and we rush into it, and we tend to injure ourselves. And again, we are accustomed to wanting things to change within a very short space of time. So we have targets that at times are unrealistic. So that creates a lot of chaos because you try to be able to do your squats, your RDLs, your weights, you want to increase them fast, and then you get prone to injuries. So the best thing is to first learn the format of any exercise that you want to do. Learn what is the posture that is needed before you start engaging with weights, because that can prevent a lot of injuries. So people get excited, we do it in groups, but we are coming from different backgrounds, coming with certain different levels of weaknesses and compromises that we are already doing. So there needs to be more specific exercises, especially during the beginning days, where someone can be able to spot you and show you how to do squats, how to do RDLs, how to do
What
those.
is RDL?
So it's called a Romanian deadlift.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it's when you are now using a different form of squat in order to target your inner thighs, outer thighs, the glutes, and the abs, of which if you look at the media now, that's what people are trying to attain. We're trying to get bigger bums and and a flatter tummy. Yes, so you find that you find that most people really want to focus in on that, but if it's not done properly, it can lead to really disastrous problems. It can lead to dyskinesia. It can lead to muscle tears. It can lead to rotator cuff issues, knee issues, ankles. So there's a lot of injuries that tend to occur because the process of getting to know how to do those things has been jumped.
To add to what she's saying is that if you want to be a runner, you need a trainer to teach you how to run. If you want to be also somebody who is a gym person, you need a trainer to do that for you. But we are finding that because people want to do it quickly, because I'm not injured anywhere, I'm not strong enough, I want to go to deep. Then you find the people who are in the gym, they are overwhelmed by the number of people going to the gym. They won't be able to supervise things.
Each and everyone.
So if you tell them you are lifting 20 kilos, they will accept you to encourage you to go on. And when you are going on them, they are happy. Until you find that you have gone to a stage where you can't do it, and that's where you get the injury. So whatever you do, go in a programmed way.
The right way.
And the body will tell you when you are doing something which will hurt you. And then you should stop. Yeah? Because most of people who hurt in the gym, it's they went beyond their body control.
What they could handle.
What they could handle. But since they have somebody telling them, no, you can't do this, they go ahead. And then you find they injure themselves.
And they can see their friend is able
to
do
do
it,
it.
so why not me?
And they don't know how long that individual has been doing that and where they started. So everything must be training. Be patient. Don't tell yourself, if I go to the gym, I have to walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes. How long has that body been told to work for that? Start with the 10 minutes.
Yeah, start with 10. Okay.
Don't go to inclining it immediately. Just go until you are sure with the flat one. Then you go slowly. Build your confidence in the gym yourself. Don't rely on the gym instructor. Rely on your body.
on your body.
You can always ask him or her what to do. Because if you do it your way alone, or you just follow him alone, let it be a compromise between your gym instructor and you. The body always talks. Always follow your body.
And to add to that, people who have been going for gym maybe for a month or two, and then after a month or two, something happened that needed your attention. You were not in the gym for about a month. Then when you come back, you want to carry the same weight. And you don't want to start again and build up. Especially if you've been off the gym for more than 2 weeks, you really have to start from a lower weight. So I think also people try to catch up, which is not right. You shouldn't be trying to catch up from where you were. You should try and feel where your body is, and now try to increase towards what you want. And it's not a competition. I think most people don't understand that our bodies are different, so we cannot attain same things at the same time. And like Dion said, know your limits. That will help you not to get yourself injured.
Oh, fantastic. So now we want to go over and have Dr. Petty demonstrate how to do the deadlift.
So we get a lot of people complaining about pain because of the way that they do deadlifts. They get a lot of injuries. So we are going to show you how to do them properly and how usually people do them wrongly. Okay. So can I have you lifting this bar for me? So usually what happens, you can squat again. What usually happens is that people, when they are trying to lift a weight, they will use their front of the ankle, they will use their knees whilst they are forward, and they will bend a lot more, of which those can create a problem. Can you come up slowly? So as he comes up slowly, he will be using his upper back and his lower back to pull up the weight, and also using his shoulder to pull out the weight, so which results in a lot of problems with the back. It might strain the muscles, and it might even cause a disc herniation. So you're going to go down again. As they go down, they engage the weight into their feet, especially if it's not planted. It might create some ankle injuries and some knee injuries as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna let you demonstrate how to do it properly. First thing, you're going to come forward until your feet are right in the middle of your bar, and allowing you to at least see your toes on the other side of the bar. Now, secondly, when you go down, now you are going to brace your tummy and lock in your shoulders, right? And then when you go down, you are literally going to push your bum backwards in order to make sure that your knees are not going ahead of your toes.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Awesome. Now you're going to pick up the weight, remembering to keep the core braced and the bum out. And you take it up to there and then down. So as he's doing it, you can see that his back is well braced and well supported, and his bum is out there, and his knees are not passing above or in front of the toes. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. That's strange, because where I'm feeling the pressure is right there, and on my bum, and right on my shoulders.
Okay.
Not at my back.
Yes.
I haven't felt it on my back.
That's the main thing, to keep your back protected and also not to harm your back and causing any disc issues that may occur. So that's very important, because at the end of the day, we don't want you harming yourself when you're doing your deadlifts.
Thank you, Dr. Betty.
So still speaking about the gym, so there are people who want that 6-pack, that 8-pack, and they do sit-ups and end up injuring their back. What advice would you give to people who want to strengthen the core and are wanting to do sit-ups?
Well, there is the technique of doing these exercises. Because if your core is quite weak, or you feel as if it is strong, and you go lie flat on your back and do a sit-up, what you are doing, you are pushing pressure to your back, especially the lower back, which means you are going to push what we call discs. Yeah? So when you are starting to do sit-ups, please don't go directly to do sit-up in a straight leg. Neither to lift both the legs up when you are flat on your back. That one will hurt your back immediately and you will rush for physio or to see orthopedic surgeon. So the best way to start off these exercises of strengthening the core is you go by segment. Always, if you want to do a sit-up, start when you are lying on your back with the knees bent. Let your instructor see how far you can do it. That way you strengthen the upper part of your core. Then when that is strong enough, let's go to the lower part of your core. There are techniques of training the core muscles, but people rush to sit-ups. Sit-ups are very risky because you will hurt your discs. So don't rush to that. Go gradual and use proper postures to be able to strengthen the core. Yeah? Because when you come up immediately and the core is weak, you are pushing everything to the spinal column and you will hurt yourself. You get muscle spasms, you are unable to turn or anything. So whenever you are doing your core muscles, use the proper postures, and they are there even in books, how to start strengthening your muscles.
So you start with your head and upper back first, before moving to a full sit-up.
So sit-up, yes.
Okay.
Very true. Just to add on to that, a lot of people tend to push their head forward using their arms. So then they tend to strain the upper, the neck and the upper back when trying to do a sit-up. It's very important to engage your core. Like she was saying, a lot of exercises that engage the core can be done without too much risk. So before you do the sit-ups, understand where the force is supposed to come from. If we are still building the upper part of your abs, then it doesn't need to go all the way. And also you need to make sure that it's focused onto your abs. You're not using your arms to push you up. You are using your upper abs to push you up. So start slightly at an angle of 30 degrees. So you're going to 30 degrees and coming back down. 30 degrees and down, instead of going all the way up to the knees and then you come back. That can definitely give you some strain. And then again, especially for ladies, if you've had children, you need to be aware of diastasis recti, which is a condition that when you are pregnant or when you've delivered a baby, the muscles have not yet fully come back together. So there needs to be different types of exercises to allow your muscles to come back together and also allow those muscles to be strengthened. So that sometimes if you do the sit-up without having strengthened those areas, you might actually even worsen diastasis recti. So it's very important to make sure that you are doing other core strengthening exercises before you start with the sit-up.
Before you go to the sit-ups. Okay. That's very interesting. I think we can move on to a sport or hobby like swimming. Yeah. So perhaps Dion, you could tell us what are the key issues you see with swimmers.
The swimmers don't get most injuries, and when they get, it is usually the shoulder and the upper back. Why? Because of the way they come out to dive back to the
To the
water, they have to turn, I think, to one side. So they are not used to do both sides. So you find the arm which they are using most, they will always feel pain on their shoulder. Otherwise, majority is the mid back, which sometimes you see it as if it's a bit arched. So when they hurt their shoulder, they can get it rectified and be advised which muscle to use when they are trying to get out of water and do whatever they do. The upper back is when they have to do strengthening exercises. So when they go to the gym, the instructor should be always encouraging them to do the muscles we call rhomboids. The swimmers need their rhomboids as much as possible.
That is the upper back?
The
muscles.
upper back muscle, which makes them to push their shoulder blades and shoulder levels backwards. And then they have to use still the core.
The core, okay.
So the core is always the base
Yes.
of any sports. It has to be strong. So the areas we have found them getting hurt or weak is the mid back, or we say the upper back, and mostly a shoulder joint. Yeah, overuse. This one of the upper back is weak. They get weaker there if they don't do strengthening exercises. Even swimmers go to the gym to strengthen themselves. Yeah.
It's true. I have in the past I have swum for several years, and it is true you actually do need to strengthen your muscles. But the other thing that is very key, I would get funny aches, the hip, the back. So when I went and actually got an instructor and got trained on how to do the strokes well, then I was able to now, the aches and the pains were no longer there. So it's very important to know the right technique. Doing it wrongly will get you injured. Yeah. So
And just to add on to that, also the breathing exercises are very important, especially within water, and the relaxing techniques. You have to learn to relax in water because the more you strain or the more you tighten certain muscles, it's going to cause you, that tension is going to cause you muscle strains. And as Dion was saying about the shoulder, it's very important to have full range of motion into the shoulder. Look into what muscles are you compromising in order to get some range of motion. We are all compromising at some point because of how we sit, our posture. Most of our shoulders are hunched forward. So a lot of times when if you can hunch your shoulder forward and try to raise your hand up, you'll see it won't go that high. But if you put it back and you try to reach up, it can have a fuller range of motion. So most of us, we are hunched forward, and then you want to go on a full range of motion with a hunched shoulder. So it's very important not to have a good posture and not to injure your shoulder in the process of trying to learn or in the process of swimming. Like you have said, that it's very good to find an instructor. That will decrease the level of anxiety that you go into with water because it's a different environment.
Yeah.
So when you get now used to the water, you tense up less and you allow water to carry you. It makes it much easier to swim.
Very true. And as Dion had pointed out, I was also taught how to breathe on both ends while I'm doing the front stroke or the freestyle.
Because breathing
stroke.
will relax you.
Yeah,
Yes, it will relax you.
All right, fantastic. How about golfers? We have more and more people taking it up as a hobby, and we still get a lot of people coming in with injuries from golf. What's going on there?
So most people are using their dominant hand to stroke, and which is understandable, obviously, because it's your strongest hand. Again, there is a twist that goes onto your core, which needs you to have a stronger core. And then once you start twisting your core, then you start twisting your pelvis and your hips. So that whole motion now goes down to the knee. Then you have a certain posture. By the time you hit the ball, there is a certain posture that you've attained in terms of your shoulders, your core, your hips, and your knees, all the way down to your ankles. So you have to understand the mechanism in which you are hitting the ball and why it's frustrating certain joints. So for that, for you to be able to understand that, you have to strengthen certain muscles. And again, we go back to the base, which is the core. Yes, once you've been able to strengthen the core, it's easier to move the hips as relevant without harming your back. Because once your back is not in, you haven't held in your core, it's easy to take the weight onto one hip than the other, and then as you push the ball with more strength, you're also destabilizing your shoulders. So there's a very important structural or core strength that you need to have in order to have a good hit. So you'll find that most of the time people who do golf are also going to the gym to strengthen muscles.
Okay.
Because you need to now make sure that those knees are good and flexible. As much as we want strength, we also want some flexibility. So it's very important with golf to have some flexibility. A lot of people now start to compromise when it comes to the elbows as well. Hence, we get golfer's elbow, and then we get tennis elbow as well, depending on how the person is hitting the ball. And it's because it's the easiest joint to compromise. You have to do now more of that if you're not turning your torso. So if you're not engaging your core, then you're going to use a lot of the elbow, and then you're going to overstrain the elbow. So it's a full body motion. As much as it's a swing, your whole body needs to get involved so that you don't take all that pressure and put it on the elbow.
This one is very good because in Kenya, people took golf as for senior adults. They are the most people who go to start golfing. The reason is, immediately they go, they look for the trainer who will show them how to do the swing. But nobody assesses them to know how strong are the muscles for the swing are. I'm so impressed with the new technique because now we are having kids starting to do golf as early as they are teens. This makes it easy for them. They are young, they are strong, and training the muscles is easier. But if you are going to golf as a senior person, be slow because your hip, your elbow, and your one side of the body will be always the tighter one. Because you have started this sport without being in the proper posture to do it. That's why the golfers will come, or they will always complain the hip and the elbow. But when you go to their back, it's not in good position. So it is the posture we take and how ready are we for that position of swinging.
How strong the muscles are.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. And before we go to another sport, is warming up and warming down and stretching before, stretching after you've done these sports. Is that important, Dr. Petty?
Yes, it's very important. It's important to warm up first, march on the same spot for a while, just about a minute, and then start with your stretches. That will help blood to circulate around your muscles. It will also help the muscles to now relax, so that whenever you contract them, they are able to contract fully. And then after the sport, it's very important to also stretch then after, because now you are allowing those muscles to let go of the tension and now come back to normal. So stretching is very much advised before and after your session.
Yeah, because we see a lot of people just engaging in the sport, but there's no stretching before, no stretching after. So some things are cumulative. So let's go to tennis. I think it's also in the same range with squash, and it's also in the same range with the racket games. Yeah. So what are the main issues that come from there?
Well, I think in general about sports is how ready is your body. Let's prepare your body before you go to a certain sport. Understand what muscles are more used in every sport. Because with the tennis, the most people come with this injury they get is what we call tennis elbow. It's the frequency of turning the lower arm all the time. But how strong is those muscles which are being turned on and off? So for any sport, you have to understand which muscles you use more and be ready to make them strong, as Dr. Petty is saying, always before and after. You won't have that tennis elbow.
Okay.
If you go to these others like squash and the new one called panda, it's the way you turn your legs. Are the muscles holding the joints in the proper position? So generally, is you have to be very strong, both muscular and posture for every sport. And you will minimize the injuries. Yeah.
And to add on to that, with tennis, there is a lot of sudden turns. So you have to follow where the ball is. It's kind of like soccer, where you have to quickly turn. It's a quick response, and it needs, it needs your coordination as well as joint strength, especially going onto the ankle and knees. You're going to have to be quick with your turning, and most of the time you can't focus on your body posture because you're focusing on the ball. And it's hard
That's
to
true. That's
it's
true.
actually impossible
Yeah,
to focus
possible.
on both of them at the same time.
Yes.
You are running towards the ball, so you've done a quick turn, you are running towards the ball, and you really want to hit it with the most strength. So coming from a running point of view, you are falling into an action that you want to do, and it's kind of doing a lot of motion all at the same time, but focusing on the ball. So it can be quite challenging. So with that being said, it does mean that you basically have to strengthen all of your joints because they are all involved in hitting the ball, in turning, and all of that combination of movement that happen in a very short. So you need to be able to burst. It's so once you hit the ball, you will relax for a bit. It's still going that side. Once it comes back, you need to move fast. So there's a lot of coordination that needs to happen with tennis. So I would advise for people to have a strengthening program that they are already on.
Yeah.
So that will help in all the twisting and turning that they have to do.
Okay. Good to know that. So strengthen your body, because you just cannot observe posture in a lot of this tennis, squash.
That's-
Yes. So, Dion, what is the role of physiotherapy when it comes to not only sports injuries, but enabling someone to perform better in whatever hobby they're undertaking, in whatever activity that they are undertaking? What is the role of physiotherapy?
For every sport done, as many as they are, is that after the sports, you have what we call lactic acid in the body. And when you, especially if you are going for competition, the lactic acid produced by the muscles is too much. And most people just go and rest. When they rest, the muscles get acidic and they go to what we call stiffness and soreness. So for every sport, we ask people immediately you do the competition or whatever you do, don't just go and rest somewhere. If possible, you can soak yourself in a cold bath so that the muscles contract, not to allow the lactic acid to go to the muscles. You soak yourself in a cold bath, take a lot of sweet fluids so that the cells get something to eat.
Electrolytes.
Whatever it is. Me, I tell people take fresh juice. They replace the sugar very fast in the muscles, those cells. Then when you go to a cold bath, it makes the muscles to contract because they are very hot after the game.
Yes.
And the lactic acid is the what is within. So not to let it soak to the muscles, soak yourself in a cold bath.
And most people do hot baths afterwards.
No, it is supposed to be a cold bath so that the muscles contract. Then when the acid is already diffused by the muscle, the body now starts relaxing. When it relaxes, the acid is taken away by the body mechanism and it is expressed away either through sweat or urine or whatever it is, even through breath. It will take away the lactic acid. Then when you soak yourself and get out, try to move your body slowly so that the muscles go back to their natural posture. When you do that, you'll find that you feel still stiff. And this is where the physiotherapists come in and try to resist the tension by use of what we call it a soft tissue manipulation. Majority of people call it massage, but it is such a big difference between massage and the soft tissue manipulation. Massage, you will go all over the body. But when you go to soft tissue massage, you go to a specific group of muscles. So when we work on them, and then they become back to normal, and the texture of the muscle is back to normal. When you go back now to strengthen your muscles, they will be very ready to do the contraction and the releasing. But always don't rush to the gym after any sports. You must give your body at least between 12 and 24 hours to be able to get rid of the lactic acid. Yeah?
And recover.
And recover. And take good foods. Don't go to heavy meals immediately. You should go to very light pancakes. I don't know what else, fruits. That way it helps the body to recover quickly. But when you take a heavy meal, you will find that you get constipation and so forth. So physios are there to help you immediately after. Let's say between the 36 hours, go for physio. If it is in a field where people are doing the sports, we have a special liniment which we pour on the muscles so that they cool quicker than going to the bath. That is if it is a field. Or if you go, you have a physio immediately after your sports. They have a way of making the muscles to cool as fast as possible, removing the lactic acid out of the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. And Dr. Petty, first explain to us what chiropractic medicine is, and then the role of chiropractic medicine in people who are physically active and are around and they undertake these activities or sports or hobbies.
Okay, so a chiropractor basically focuses on the neuromusculoskeletal system.
Very big words.
So neuro means nerves, and then muscle and the skeleton, right? So we are looking at the coordination of all of those. So when your spine is moving well, your nerves will be working well, and your muscles will also follow. So the main thing we are looking at when we come into the sporting activities, it has been shown in research that people who are getting their regular adjustments or their regular care from a chiropractor are able to perform better because now their nerves have been stimulated well, their spine is aligned, and their muscles are able to respond well to the instruction. Remember now, all the instructions that come to your body is coming from your spinal cord. So your spinal cord is hosted by your spine. So if there's any irritations around there, they will cause over production of stimulus. If let's say you've irritated a certain nerve, you might feel that pain going down into your arm or going down into your leg because of the nerve that's shooting towards those muscles. So it's very important to make sure that your spine is aligned, and that will increase the performance that you have towards your sports, and it will keep your format aligned. Whatever sports you are in, then you're able to perform better. So I believe that's one of the reasons that they are finding that people who are getting regular sessions with chiropractors are performing much better than they would on a normal basis.
Okay. And I'd like us to hear from one of our patients who's been receiving treatment and also goes to the gym, how her performance improved over time.
My name is Pauline Wanene. I've been coming to the Chiropractic and Physiotherapy Center for a year now. And what led me to starting to come for sessions early in 2024 was I had begun my fitness journey, if I may call it, late 2022. So at this point, I had been exercising not too consistently for about a year. We had our annual fitness tests at work. One of the things that was called out was my flexibility and just a bit of mobility issues, especially in my upper body. And that was the previous year, 2023, in around October. So beginning 2024, I think it must have been part of my New Year's resolutions just to try and see what it is I could do differently for my health. So I consulted around. I actually happened to be talking to a colleague of mine, and he mentioned that he comes to the physiotherapy center at the Westlands branch. So he sent me the contacts, and I was able to set up an appointment in the first session. I think what gave me some confidence is the fact that there's a test you do when you come in on the first day, and whatever it is that the physiotherapist told me on that day correlated with exactly what I had been told. So I also felt like there was a bit of, okay, they've gotten the problem that I'm here to fix. So I started my sessions at that point in time, and what I noticed is, so initially it was a bit intensive, then I went just reducing the frequency. And what I need to point out is, when I say I started my fitness journey in 2022, I have been sedentary all my life. I've not been an athlete. I've not consistently exercised. I don't move. My body was what I would always describe as tight or a bit heavy. Sometime in 2019, I had a persistent knee pain on my right leg, and basically all these things just made me realize that I mean, my body was not operating the way it's supposed to be operating. And so when I took the recommendation to do this session seriously, I knew that it was going to be important. And I think out of the 1 year that I exercised in 2023, I noticed, the pains and my fear. Actually, my biggest fear has always been to get injured, because I know as you get older, injuries then become a bit more serious in terms of your recovery time. And then I'm already on this journey of getting fit. So do I really want to get hurt? And now I can't exercise anymore. So what I noticed is as I did the sessions, the movements in the gym became easier. And I was able to increase they call it range of motion. I was able to increase my range of motion for most of the movements. And therefore it was sort of like, it was feeding into another area of my life that I was really keen on doing very well. So as I progressed in the kind of movements I would do in the gym, I realized, oh wait, this is actually a very good support system for my gym life, because my recovery was faster, the movements I could do were more, and it sort of fueled me to keep working and to especially keep my appointments. So it's been a very, very important journey for me, because I've also come to understand how my body works, so that when I'm having my session done, I engage the therapist in terms of what it is I'm feeling in my body. And the most interesting thing I think happened this year, if I'm not wrong, I went in for a session at the Ridgeway's branch, and as she was working on my neck, she asked me if I was getting headaches. And it was, I think, on a Friday, and that whole week from Monday, I was having migraines every evening. And again, it was interesting to see that the things I was feeling, she could actually tell during the session, and after the therapy that day, the migraines disappeared. It's something that I have recommended to my son. So my son is a power lifter, and he's also started coming in for some sessions, and just trying to educate him on, what, you need support, you need to condition your body, and the therapy helps. Working out is good, but what people don't appreciate is that it's actually a stressor on the body. And therapy, the physiotherapy actually helps you then to condition the body and help relieve the stress and help your body recover, so that your muscles, they can recover, they can grow, and they can function as optimally as they're expected to operate. I don't think I can speak about physiotherapy enough, whether it's with the people at the gym. Now I'm a CrossFitter. I've been doing CrossFit for almost a year. And anytime, someone would mention something, and a few times I've gone like, physiotherapy is a bit painful, let me go in for a massage. And I always feel robbed because what I pay for the massage and what I get out of it, vis-a-vis what I get out of coming in for a physiotherapy session at day and night. And therefore I try to encourage people to take care of their bodies. And even as I get older, because like I said, I've never exercised. I will not say how old I am, but I am old enough to be chunguliaring perimenopause. And one of the things I have I've been learning is that muscle health, mobility are very important as women age, and how well their bodies are able to handle menopause. And so I'm also encouraged in that aspect, just knowing that I'm on the right track in terms of taking care of my old age. There's actually a meme I've seen recently that says, I'm not working for my summer body or for my beach body, I'm working for my old lady body. And that encourages me to just imagine that I can be 50, I can be 60, I'm strong, I can carry my shopping, I can go up the stairs without heaving, I can stand without holding the chair, and stuff like that. So I think in conclusion, I'll repeat what I've already said. These bodies are all you have to carry you through life. So however many years you get to live, this is the vessel that you get to exist in, and taking care of it cannot be overemphasized. And I think someone said recently that you have many problems until you have a health problem. And once you have a health problem, you only have one problem. Thank you.
So there you have it, folks. physiotherapy and chiropractic will not only help your body heal, but also improve your performance. Dion, do you have any last words for our audience?
Yes, I would want to say that life is a journey, and you don't want to remain in your daily routine. If it is office work, you don't want only to do the office work and go home. So it is, and we are so encouraged by the new method of, whether it was introduced because of the disease we had, is that everybody has an activity to do. So don't rush to those activities. Look for how you join such activities. That is either you are going hiking, you want to start running, swimming, or even gym. Start from the beginning. Learn and understand the purpose and the production of what you will benefit from that sport. Always start from the beginning. Don't just dive to it. It has also its consequences. So start from zero.
All right, so everything is progressive.
Yes.
Do not be impatient. Yeah, go step by step. Dr.
Yes.
Petty, any last words?
Just to emphasize on what she has been saying, do your exercises progressively, and that will help you because you're not in competition with anyone. You are just trying to make sure that you become better at whatever sports you are engaging in. So it's very important to understand that slow is the fastest way to get there. Be slow, and you'll do things properly, and you won't have to keep on turning back because of issues and injuries, because after an injury we have to do rehabilitation, and rehabilitation takes time. We don't tell you go and lift 20 kgs again. No, we tell you start with no weights.
Yes.
And then once you are able to do those exercises with no weights and without pain, now we give you resistant bands. So it's a progress, and you might find that you were somewhere, but then it takes you 6 months to get back on the. So in a way, you were trying to get there fast, but now you're getting there very slow. So it's very important to rather do it well the first time.
Do it well the first time. So for those who are active, keep it up, but make sure you are safe and you're doing it progressively. For those who are not yet active, be encouraged, start small and progress, and for sure your body will thank you for it. My name is Nelly Mbiga. I have been your host. Do have a good night.